So.
You look like a Martian.
Which planet you are from?
Yeah. Planet Cologne.
What do you think about the trend?
What trend? I refuse to.
All right.
Could you like a trend? Like, I don't agree with you.
No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, the blue.
I'll interview Eero, okay. We have different speeds. There are things which are born and or inseminated and born in 3 months, or those who are inseminated and born in 5 years. When they work in architecture, you submit the first drawing, only maybe 3 years or 5 years later, it's going to happen, finish, and then you keep on processing it. It's
you can't think about trends.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having kids and planning which university they're going to.
Yeah.
You know, and I also think it's really important point is that if anything is trendy, you could be so sure that this gentleman is not going to do that. And it means also that you're always working, and also because today the profession is very global, so you work with companies from different parts of the world. So even if we are in Cologne right now, and this is the main stage for German companies, you work with American companies and Japanese companies and Italian companies, and they all have their own fair, Spanish company, and it means that you have a lot of deadlines coming all the time, and you're always working with things which is going to be presented sometime in the future. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be next month, and it means that your time frame is always somewhere, you know, looking at that light at the end of a tunnel.
Always hazy.
Yeah, and it's a train coming.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's you're always a little bit working in advance in your profession, and which secondly means that when you ask the first question, what have you been thinking about in the last 6 months? So it means that when you, at least I do, well, I know you quite well by now. So I think that when you spend time with your family, you know, and friends and so, you try to do it very much in the moment right now, because the rest of your life is over there.
Yeah. We live now and now
that's
and
why
here.
you like surfing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to be in an hour. I only think I know, but I don't know. Never can tell.
So I asked Arik. Well, I mean, we see each other, you know, maybe once a month. You know, somewhere in the world, you know, all the time. It could be on an airport when he's going somewhere, I'm going somewhere, I'm like, hi. So we asked yesterday, so everybody's talking about it. Do you have any recession in your studio? And Arik, no, I don't either. I need to hire another architect. So what I talked about, actually the journalist I talked about just before this, right now, 5 minutes ago, he asked the same question. And I think that in every time that, if you look at the history of design, every time that there's been a recession, a lot of companies which didn't really have a clear idea why they were existing and why they were making things, or people without any clear idea, they kind of disappeared. And the people who had an idea, or companies who had an idea, why do they make furniture? What is the real culture of the company? They just come out stronger on the other end. So to me, it's like this process of you know, when you make frozen food, you take away all the excess. It gets more into real stuff. Yeah,
I think it's
my belief.
I agree, and I think it's probably the most important thing that happened to the industry, to our kids, to society. Everything became too fluffy, too unimportant, too easy, too glitzy, too crazy. And I think it's important people to think back about the essentials. And when we talk to our manufacturers and say, hey, why don't you make the packaging 5 millimeters smaller? And they say, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Now it matters, and they're going to do it. So they're going to listen more to our observation, and I think it's going to put into action a lot of things. And it's totally right what Eero says. And adding to that, to the fact that you have a coherent idea and a reason why you do things, is that now the big companies that used to have, I don't know, 1,000 square meter stands or 500 square meter stand, they can't show up on a 100 meters. They are locked in their own trap. They can't stop advertising because everybody's gonna think that they went bankrupt. But the small ones, the medium one, they exist because of what they are. They don't need the tralala around it to be. So I think it's fantastic. And also the industry they have to keep on doing. So we are in the best position because we generate that for them. We work with them. What may happen is the budget's going to look different. We're going to travel maybe not in first class, but in business class.
Or less. Or less.
Or no class, on the wing. Or the train.
Hanging on. Yeah.
We're going to take the Siberian Express to go to India. Elite is a description, is a social description of this is elite and this is not elite. It's the high end and low end. We are the people that has expressed our opinions and had the reasons why it is what it is. And I think it's this star designer and all the abbreviations that came from the fashion industry are completely useless, ridiculous, and meaningless. Yeah. Totally, entirely, and completely.
Yeah.
Let's finish with that. I think we agree.
I agree too,
but we have responsibility, and when somebody pays us or not, the moment we agree to do a project, and I think we are similar in that, when we say yes, we are 100% devoted, seriously, thoroughly, and entirely to the project that we do. It's part of us, and it's part of the industry we work with. It's a osmosis. It's something which is an important thing to do together. It's not only me or Eero sitting in his studio and doing that. It's a collaboration, and it is a great responsibility. We say somehow what will happen, what we think will happen. Of course, we have no guarantee. If today would have been sun, half of the people would be outside eating sausages. but that's reality, because people are people. So I think.
Well, it's so cliche, but to have a little bit more time with the people I love. It's so cliche, but it's really yeah.
It's really.
That's what you say in the Oscar.
Yeah, well, I hate it, but no, but it is. I mean, you're asking me, and I'm thinking I shouldn't say that.
No, you should.
And this is really. I mean, I talked to somebody before the Milan fair, which is, what is it, 2 months, 3 months? I have to go to Australia, I have to go to South America, I have to go to the United States, I have to go to Japan, I have to go to Milan a few times. And, I only have this much time. And I'm like, I realize from now until April, I'm not going to be home more than 3 days anywhere in a row. Anywhere, And it's like, it's... So I'm thinking maybe I can cancel that lecture thing in Australia, or
maybe you make a home in every city.
Oh, no, I don't have that money. I'm a designer, Come on. I wouldn't want one anyway, Yeah. Can you imagine, where's that shirt? Oh no, it's in the place in London. I hate that. And then you're going to say they're all black anyway.
In your case.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Well, I think personally, I much agree with Eero. My feeling is that we come from an opposite, different countries. It comes from the north, and I come from the south. But I think essentially at the end, we have very similar needs and very similar beliefs, and so I think people are more important than objects. I think the world. I have never cried in my life seeing a chair that I designed in the fair. I was really happy, very flattered, felt that my hair was there, my muscles and my feathers, everything was great, but I never cried. I do cry because somebody kissed me, or I do cry because somebody hugs me, or I do cry because I get a nice letter. So I think people are very important. This is why I joined what he said, that we design for people, and we have to make it. It's our responsibility to make it, to communicate what we thought is important. That goes through the marketing, the newspapers, the shows, etc., and get to the end user, that he can feel. It could be beauty is a function, and I'd love somebody. People come into a shop. This is incredible. If you think about it, they can say, "I love this chair." Imagine I told you I love you. They'd say, "Oh, Arik, cut the crap, blah blah blah." I say, "Oh, I love this chair." Put their hand in the pocket, pays X amount of euros, which is money that somebody has collected in the last 6 months to buy what he loves. So it's all about emotions. And I think that's what we should cherish and keep and nourish and water and plant. And well, Eero,
I agree.
I love you.
Yeah,
and it could not be a better moment for me to say.
As much as I like you, I think your chairs are fantastic, but I don't love your chairs.
I said, love you. You're so materialistic. You see, north and south. So it was a typical example of the north and the south.
Thank you very, very much for that interview. Thanks. Thanks a lot.